Syah.
Hai.
Dah. Motion release kat mana?
Tak macam dokumen tu dalam room tu kan untuk semi final. So untuk finals kena tengok motion dekat mana dokumen. Oh. Faham. Okay, faham. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Kenapa dia ingat lah?
Together with Aisyah di sini.
She's toilet break.
Oh, where's toilet here? In this layout?
There's a toilet.
And Razita, is it Razita? That's you.
Call me Aunia.
Aunia, okay, Aunia. Alright. Okay, good luck, UM and Talos. Thank you. Wow. It reminds me when I was secondary school.
Buat dekat dalam slide tu.
Those days.
Nanti kau share slide tu kan. Boleh?
When was that? 1940s, is it?
No, I don't say that lah. No, 1990s actually. That was like early 90s. Represent debaters for Penang. For makan Penang. Tu je nama tu.
I was in
Kau cek balik semua dah masuk tu. Aum dah masuk. Ya, Aum dah masuk. Saya dah masuk. Saya Sofia dah masuk. Kerabat Uya tak masuk lagi. 2. Tedes ada 3 orang je. 1, 2, 3. Timekeeper, mana? Panggil.
So pihak chairperson dah masuk.
Dia pun tak dengar kita tu, Syah.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh, and a very good evening to our honourable guest, Architect Adranta Aziz from PEM Education Chairman, Pertubuhan Arkitek Malaysia, Technologist Dr. Muhammad Zairul bin Muhammad Nur, Advisor of Zone 32nd Architecture Student Workshop 2021 First Virtual Edition, Muhammad Shah Zarul Nizam bin Muazzin, the Director of Zone 32nd Architecture Student Workshop 2021 First Virtual Edition, Pertubuhan Arkitek Malaysia Education Committee, B.Yond VADC2021 educators, finalists, debaters, and zone committee member, and to all audience that are streaming live from our YouTube channel. On behalf of Zone Committee, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to all of you. We appreciate you taking some time off to join our event tonight.
Ya. Mana ni? Okay, can you hear me, Syah? You dekat mana tu? Garis pixel punya office tu? Salam ada situ? Alright. Thank you, Syah, for your introduction. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. And salam sejahtera. Good evening. I greet to Zone, Z1, Zone 32nd Architecture Student Workshop, year 2021. The first virtual edition advisor, TS Dr. Muhammad Zairul bin Muhammad Noor. Hi Zach, Dr. Zach. And also Zone 32nd Architecture Student Workshop, year 2021. First virtual edition director, Muhammad Shahrul Zarul Nizam bin Mazin. Aisyah, congratulations to you. University's head of delegates, zone committees, adjudicators, finalists, debaters, and all students. So welcome. Let's express our heartfelt thanks to Allah SWT for granting this chance for us to be here tonight. So I also would like to express my deepest gratitude for inviting me to give a speech at the closing ceremony for virtual architecture debate competition of Zone 32nd Architecture Student Workshop, the first virtual edition. So this is indeed one of the most awaited events that all of us have been anticipating, and it is great honor for me to be here. To begin, I would like to express my deepest compliments to the committees who are students themselves for their tireless efforts and genuine dedication to make the Series 1 and Series 2 of this year Architecture Student Workshop successfully. The congratulations, give a round of applause to them, the Committee of Zone. Congratulations to you all. Well done. Well, the success of this workshop is also due to the joint efforts of numerous agency and institutions, including us, Pertubuhan Arkitek Malaysia, PAM, Series 1 of Zone 32nd's Architecture Students Workshop, the first virtual edition that took place on 17th to 19th of September year 2021 was done very, very well, and I must congratulate to everyone who are involved in the event. Series 1 brought us the exciting professional forums with Mr. Azhar Sulaiman, Mr. Ahmad Hakim, the founder of KL Sketch Nation, and also Mr. Salam Chempreng, the founder of Garis Pixel. On top of that, we also got to experience professional office tour with Razin Architects. Thank you, Architect Razin. And I believe that everyone who tuned in to both of the sharing session have gained many insightful knowledges that could be beneficial for them in planning for their future path, especially after they have graduated from architecture school. Well, as for the series 2, which is the debate series, I would like to express my sincere compliment to all the teams that have actively participated in this competition, and congratulations to the finalist team for making it to the final round. Well done. And I'm looking forward for the final round of the debate competition. And finally, thank you to Serdang Royal Debate Club for their utmost cooperation to make this debate competition a success. Last but not least, I wish you good luck and all the best to the finalist teams for the final round virtual architecture debate competition. I hope you enjoy the competition and at the same time manage to hone your skills. Wisdom is learning what to overlook, and every student can learn, just not on the same day or the same way. Knowing is not enough. We must apply. Willing is not enough. We must do. And the great aim of education is not knowledge, but an action. So with that, I end up my speech with wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Shah. Without wasting any time, we will proceed to the main agenda tonight, the final virtual architecture debate competition of Zone 32nd Architecture Student Workshop 2021 first virtual edition. For the final round, we have Aum Stripes from University of Malaya and T.Ribe Talos from Talis University that will be competing for the grand prize, and there are judges from PAM, Architect Adrianta Aziz, and also from PAM, we have technologist Dr. Muhammad Zairul Muhammad Noor, and from SRDC, we have Mr. Shanaf Daniel Shanbagai. Thank you, Shah. So we may invite the adjudicators and Architect Adrianta Aziz and another two adjudicators into the room for the debate session.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the grand final rounds of Zone 32nd Architectural Student Workshop's first ever debate competition, B.Yond. Today's match is between Team T.Ribe Talos from Talos University and Team Elm Stripes from University Malaya. The motion for today's debate is, this house would abandon actual reality in favor of an ideal virtual reality. Now we will be determining the government and opposition sides for both teams by using the coin toss. For Talos University, if the coin lands on heads, the team will be acting as the government. If it lands on tails, the team will be acting as the opposition. Once the first team's side is determined, the other team will basically be acting as the opposite side. We hope everyone is clear on the instructions. We'll begin now. I'll just share my screen. Okay, can everyone see my screen? Just give me some audio if you can see my screen.
Yep.
Okay, so I'll flip the coin now. Okay, as you can see from the screen, Talos University will be acting as the government, while University Malaya will be acting as the opposition side. I repeat, Talos University will be acting as the government side. Meanwhile, University Malaya will be acting as the opposition side. Hope every speaker is clear on their respective team sides. Now, we'll be directing both teams to their separate breakout rooms, as speakers will have exactly 15 minutes to discuss today's motion. Okay.
Can you share the full motion again in writing?
Could someone share the full motion? Okay, so I'll just say it verbally again. The motion is, this house would abandon actual reality in favor of an ideal virtual reality. Is everyone clear on the motion?
Not clear. Again?
The screen was flickering just now.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Okay.
we're having a bit of Shah is supposed to share the slide for the motions. Let me share the slide first so it's easier. Can anyone see my screen?
Yes.
So in my screen there's supposed to be the full motion.
Okay, so I've also sent it in the chat, and I'll just say it one last time. This house would abandon actual reality in favor of an ideal virtual reality. And again, Talos University will be acting as the government side, while University Malaya will be acting as the opposition side. So now, if everyone is clear, I think we can move to the breakout rooms for the 15 minutes preparation time.
Dengar.
Jadi semua dengar.
Yang dekat breakout room sepatutnya tak dengar. Kalau kat YouTube dengar ke Syah? Sekejap.
three of you want to talk about, but is there anybody can hear us in YouTube? Syah, dia orang boleh dengar. Dia orang boleh dengar kita dekat YouTube. Syah. Dia orang boleh dengar.
Okey je.
Boleh, diorang boleh dengar, tapi tadi diorang tak dengar saya saja.
Sebab dekat YouTube, dekat YouTube dia orang boleh dengar lah kita ni, kita bercakap ni.
Boleh. Sebab saya yang stream, so diorang akan dengar screen saya.
I see.
Okay.
So kalau tak cakap, tak dengar lah, tapi boleh je saya sembang. Sebab kita ada 15 minutes, diorang kena tunggu.
Can we speak in private?
I think boleh masuk the lounge area. Dengar kan?
Tapi tak boleh ada saya lah. Kalau ada saya, YouTube akan dengar.
Yelah.
So rasanya yang adjudicator je yang pergi lah.
So jangan dekati saya.
Jom kejap ya. Macam mana nak tunjuk skrin kejap, macam mana nak pergi sana? Tak nampak.
Okay, Cik An, kalau Cik An ada blog, Cik An tekan G, so you guys can tembus benda tu.
G.
Tekan G nanti boleh jalan tembus.
Tekan G.
Kena hold.
Tak nampak skrin yang nak pergi ke bilik tu.
Cik An tanya macam mana nak minimize the screen.
Dekat atas tu ada anak panah.
An, where are you?
Aku kat sini lagi, kat kursi.
Aku dah pergi ke lounge tadi.
Ni dia. Okay. I got it. Shifa depan saya. Okay. Alright. Let's go. La.
Hi you guys on the YouTube. I'm sorry for the technical issue. Okay, so we are going to wait for them around 15 minutes, the preparation time. I hope you guys can stay until the end of the debate session. So sorry tadi you guys tak dapat dengar suara I sebab I mute the something, so you guys cannot hear me, only me, but the others you guys can hear. Nasib baik. So sekarang ada 15 minit, nak jalan-jalan dulu. So you guys on the YouTube, you guys can please to go our YouTube channel, Zone32 Architecture Student Workshop. You guys can share the link to your friends and don't forget to subscribe. Okay? Don't forget to subscribe.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good evening to our honorable guest. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Dengar balik suara dia. Hai Syifa.
Hello. Purple Purple semua.
Purple. So korang jangan mengarut nanti dengar kat live.
Behave guys.
Ari, where's the game at the back?
Ari, why you not purple?
Apa dia?
Apa tak purple?
But I'm a ghost. Nanti I tukar. Wait. Apa dia?
Takkanlah aku duduk sini.
Kenapa aku tak boleh interact dengan benda ni? Okay.
Mana sahabat dengan Ismail? Tak tahu.
Hai Uya.
Hello.
Hai.
Korang main apa ni?
Draw battle. Tak start lagi.
Oh ya ke? How to play? It easy. One person will host the game. Oh. Ada karakter. Okay, you guys main. Congratulations Kerabat Uya for winning the third place.
Thank you so much.
So nanti dapat hadiah 500 kan? So you guys ada 4. So another one is for me lah. Gurau. Okay, main. Sama main. I nak pergi main tempat ni.
Okay, cepat.
So this is our position preparing. And then this is our government, T.Ribe Talos are preparing. And this is our judge is set here. I don't know what they are discussing about. Alright, so this is our vending machine. Sounds pula. Okay, ada game Tetris. Mael. Alamak hilang. Mael.
Ya, saya.
Macam mana nak main ni?
Tetris ke?
Haa.
Ada new game kat bawah tu.
New game dekat bawah.
Ya, option new kat bawah.
Oh, okay, this one, new game.
Yeah.
Okay, ready, okay. Lepas tu? Lepas tu macam mana aku nak ke tepi tu? Oh, macam tu.
Okay,
dah, aku nak main.
Mantap.
So dengan YouTube tengah tengok aku main lah ni
Astaga.
Ha? Okay, ni yang jadi streamer. Korang pernah tengok tak streamer main game Tetris? Asal tak boleh gerak? Alah, tak boleh tukar. Asal tak tukar macam tu je? Aduh, noob. Aduh, malu aku kalau kalah ni. Okay, alright, mantap. Dapat satu. Jatuh. Boleh pula yang ni, tadi tak boleh. Macam mana lah? Okay, sini. And then this one sini. Marah aku main. Yeah, finally dah agak. Fuck, salah. Okay, sorry tercarut. Okay, so dah tinggal sikit. I think I need to learn to be a streamer lah, so you guys tak bosan lah nanti. So I put it here, and then this one I put it here, and then here. Then I got this one more. Dah habis. Power sangat aku ni. Lama aku main lagi. Maaf. Sini bos. Allah Akbar, mana planeta. Asal dia makin tinggi?
Asal aku tengok dekat YouTube.
Oh, aku tengah share screen, so korang tak nampak lah aku main game. Okay. Alamak, kejap aku switch transition.
Hai Ari, jom minum. Tengok tu, I dah prepare dessert untuk the judges.
What dessert?
ABC kot. Wah.
Wah. Dekat sini. Vending. Yes.
Vending machine.
Syah main tak ingat dunia.
I was like attacked by UM.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw
Yeah,
you. They wanted to ask you a question.
Preparation time 15 minutes. Sorry guys, aku main game. So whoever yang tengah whoever yang baru masuk ke live, so now we are going to wait for the debaters to do some preparation in 15 minutes about the motion. This house would abandon actual reality in favor of an ideal virtual reality. So if you guys want to debate in the comment section, you guys can go ahead. Hopefully the debaters are not looking at the comment section. Okay. So let me look at the comment. Go T.Ribe fix Aum Shabuya. Eagles fit Tigers. Wow, Eagle fit Tigers mantap. Helang lawan harimau. Okay. Where's me?
Ni main apa ni Syah?
Mana? Ini apa nama?
Tetris.
Tetris. Cik An pergi sini sikit. Sini.
Oh, situ.
Tekan X. Tekan X.
Oh. Alright.
Tekan X kat dalam ni.
Dah tekan dah.
It's 9:05 minutes. All debaters and judges, please go to the stage. Thank you.
Oh, dah habis dah. Kalau dah habis macam mana? Tekan apa? Okay, then I go back.
All debaters and judges, please go to the stage. Thank you.
Okay.
Alright, Zaki blocking my way.
Zaki.
Alright. Okay, sorry. Amanda Todd. Yeah?
I think you can actually sit in the front row with the white couches.
Why?
Yeah, those are where the judges are, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wrong.
Okay.
Okay.
Alright. Let's sit and watch the show.
Okay, I should start now. everyone in their seats? I should start. Is everyone in their seats? I should start. Is everyone in their seats? I should start. Is everyone in their seats?
Start.
Sophia, you can start now.
Okay, so I assume everyone's ready. Before we can start the debate, the speakers for Team Tribe Talos from Talos University must state their speaker positions. Could you please tell me who will be your first, second, and third speaker? Okay. Okay, so to repeat that. Okay, so Justin will be first speaker, Aloysius will be second speaker, and Jasmine will be third speaker, correct? Okay. Next, the speakers for Team Stripes from University Malaya must state their speak positions. Could you please tell me who will be your first, second, and third speakers?
First speaker will be Kushari. Oh, sorry. Really sorry.
Okay. So to repeat that, first speaker will be Kushari, second speaker will be Aisha, and third speaker will be Tia, right? Okay. Good evening to the honorable adjudicators, lecturers, debaters, ladies and gentlemen. Before we start our debate today, please mute your microphones to ensure there will be no disturbance to the flow of the debate. I would like all participants to turn on their cameras for this competition. I am Ms. Aisha Sofia, and I will be the chairperson for this debate session. Meanwhile, Shalina will be the timekeeper of this debate. This House would like to call upon the motion that this House would abandon actual reality in favor of an ideal virtual reality. Now, I would like to clarify the rules and regulations of this debate competition. With the substantive speech, the timekeeper will ring the bell at the end of the first minute to show that points of information, PY, can now be delivered. The timekeeper will ring once at the end of the 6th minute to show that time for POI is over. The timekeeper will ring twice at the end of the 7th minute, after which the speaker has 15 seconds to conclude their speech. Then, the timekeeper will ring continuously to show that the time is over, and any further explanation will not be taken into account. After both sides have presented their speeches, 3 minutes will be given to each team to prepare for their reply speeches. The opposition side will present the reply speech first, followed by the government side. Reminder, no new arguments and POIs are to be presented in the reply speeches. For the reply speeches, the timekeeper will ring once at the end of the 3rd minute to indicate that the speaker has 1 minute left to conclude their speech. And the timekeeper will ring twice at the 4th minute, in which the speaker has 10 seconds to conclude. Finally, the timekeeper will ring continuously to indicate that the time is over. All debaters are expected to have a reliable and good internet connection during this debate. Should there be any unavoidable circumstances where debaters lose connection during their speech, 5 minutes will be granted for debaters to regain their connection. If debaters fail to gain connection within 5 minutes, marks will be given according to how far they presented before the connection was lost. A sound check will be done now as I announce the speakers of each team. When your name is called, please test your microphones to ensure you are audible. Please inform the committee if there are any problems or technical issues. Talos University will be acting as the government team, with Mr. Justin as the Prime Minister. Could you please test your microphone? Yep, I can hear you. Okay, Mr. Aloysius as the Deputy Prime Minister. Okay, and Miss Jasmine as the government whip. Okay, then Team Stripes will be acting as the opposition team for this debate, with Mr. Kushairi as the opposition leader.
Hi.
Okay, Miss Aisha as the Deputy Leader of Opposition. Okay. And Mr. Tia as the Opposition Whip.
Clear.
Okay, thank you. I shall now introduce our adjudicators, Architect Adrianta Aziz, Technologist Muhammad Tyrul, and Mr. Shanaf Daniel Shinbagin. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I call upon the Prime Minister, Mr. Justin, to open the case for the government. The floor is yours.
Sorry, did he step forward on the broadcasting stand?
Sorry to interrupt you, Mr. Justin, but you actually have to step onto the podium. Yeah, that's so that everyone can hear you.
Sorry,
Up to
right
the top.
spot.
Let me just check.
Yes, I can hear it.
All right. So good to go, Ms. Chairperson.
Yep, I think that should be the correct podium.
All right. My apologies, and I shall now start again. All right. So a very good evening. I would like to bid to honourable adjudicators, Ms. Chairperson, my very worthy opponents from UM, and also my my teammates that are together here with me. And as the first speaker of side government, I will be presenting our argument in to propose the motion of tonight, which is this House would abandon actual reality in favor of an ideal virtual reality. Now, before we start, I would like to clarify the roles that we'll be playing and also the structure of our speeches. So I will be presenting the main arguments from from the government side in support of the motion, and my second, which is how an ideal virtual reality can impact the humanity's present, past, and future. And also, while my second speaker will be supporting my arguments and my. So now, before we start off with our speech, I would like to define today's motion. I think the definition is very important as we are this is a very exciting motion with an ideal virtual reality. Now, the word ideal simply means that it satisfies one's conception of what is perfect, no flaw. And virtual reality means simulation of a 3D environment which is seemingly real or physical way. And now, put together, ideal virtual reality is something that is utmost significant in this motion. It completely replaces, it's a reality that can completely replace the actual reality as it is ideal that we currently live in with no consequences. Now this motion is only possible if we set our arguments on this basis, that the possibility for us to abandon the actual reality, physical reality that we are currently in, and it does not rely on the actual reality to function and operate, and there is possible access for every single one person on the planet. And now actual reality means, as I mentioned, the physical reality that we are currently in now, that everyone is also familiar with. Abandon is to give up completely. Now look, I will now move on to my arguments. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that the abandonment of the actual reality in favor of ideal virtual reality can bring great impacts, great benefits to the present, to the past, and to the future of humanity. Now let's say how. So right now, there are conflicts everywhere. There are wars, and there are conflicts between nations, between the people within nations as well. And I think it is a very present and immediate problem that we should address. But in an ideal virtual reality, all of this can cease to exist because it is ideal for every single person. It suits every cultural or every influence that we have in the world and every background that each individual comes from. It suits every ideology, every value, every ideal of every single person. And it is an ideal virtual reality. It could be anything you want. It could be anything the individual wants for himself. And there are no influences that could clash. There are no
and it unites every single one of the person. Now, I'd like to bring to the table that virtual reality is not a new, and it's not something of the future. It's not something that we haven't seen. Virtual reality has already been used in 61% of the entertainment in the gaming industry, 41% in the medical industry, and also 41% in education systems. And I believe this is not something new, and we're already seeing the effects. Now, bringing back to the argument that I presented previously, how it can affect, it can bring immediate benefits to us, to our present and current situation, which is very relevant. Now, from gaming, which is the industry that uses virtual reality in the most percentages, we see great effects, great benefits. Communities that are created and formed around these virtual realities that allows games that provide a whole new identity to gamers. They provide this whole new environment, whole new world to this person, and we see its effects. Individuals gaining confidence in the avatars that they build, in the avatars that they identify as, and the people they recognize, and the people they build, the connections and relationships they build through such platforms, such virtual reality platforms. I repeat, these realities don't exist, but within them, they actually build meaningful conversations, meaningful relationships, and they're I'll accept it later. Meaningful relationships with one another. Communities are formed from nothing, just based on a game, and they are more confident. And this is only possible because there's no prejudice of any background, race, or culture. Everything is there as their best self and their most perfect form of themselves, and they project such confidence, and it unites every single person. There are huge communities that's formed, and we've actually seen this not quite long ago. I'm pretty sure everyone, audience as well, is familiar with the game Pokemon Go. It's one of the first games that bring virtual reality to the palm of every single person. And in January 2021, Pokemon Go had approximately 827,000 daily active users via iPhone in the United States, and 150 million people play Pokemon Go. Now, this connects every single one person. I'll take one POI now.
POI? So you mentioned that gaming communities are inclusive, so it includes toxic communities in video games, and those with poor connection, poor skills, or poor hardware are not included in these communities. And Pokemon Go is actually augmented reality, which means a reality layered upon another reality.
Thank you. I was using those as an example to support an ideal virtual reality, and the problem that you've shown has just highlighted how much we need the importance to abandon actual reality and in favor of an ideal virtual reality where everyone gets equal access and everyone does not come from any single historical background influence. Now, I'll move on to how it impacts the past of humans. We can actually reunite with our deceased loved ones. We can re-experience history and things that we have lost, memories that we have forgotten. A South Korean mother reunited with his deceased daughter via VR goggles to see with her own eyes, who died from a blood-related disease 3 years ago, and it was very heartwarming and very touching. It can also influence and bring great potential to humanity's future. Learning and developing ourselves are no longer restricted to 2D paper or even 2D screens. We can now re-experience and learn things through all of our senses, every single sense of our body. Intangible elements can be experienced. We are no longer restricted to the traditional ways of learning. We can even experience past in history lessons. We can see, hear, and feel through the ideal virtual reality that we are creating. And this is why I believe that all these benefits support our motion of abandoning the actual reality and moving into an ideal virtual reality. Thank you.
Thank you, Prime Minister. The Prime Minister spoke for 7 minutes and 27 seconds. Next, let us invite the opposition leader, Mr. Kushairi, to state the opposition's objections with regards to today's motion.
virtual member of the house, this house would abandon actual reality in favor of an ideal virtual reality. And as the leader of the opposition, with the members of the opposition, we totally oppose this motion. But firstly, we are going to check and point. I would love to point out several flaws in the case proposed by the government side. First, they failed to present to us what is the mechanization of we are abandoning the actual reality in favor of the ideal virtual reality, which means that they didn't show to us how the transition process or who's the stakeholders involved in the process of transitioning between the actual reality and the virtual reality itself. Because in this process, we are going to agree that in creating virtual reality means that we are going to depending on the software development and also to create the new RAM, which is the virtual reality itself, ladies and gentlemen. Secondly, they failed to present to us what is their characterizations on the ideal virtual reality itself, because their definitions shows about the perfect world, but how they will define a perfect world, because of this, I would love to challenge the definitions by the Prime Minister, because the ideal world or the perfect world is a world that's suitable for all kind of people. Doesn't matter their limitation of ages, for example, for children, for adults, for elderly, and maybe for the group of ethnicities. How about the group of those who have nationalism and religious, and those people should be respected in the world that we are going to be created as the ideal virtual reality itself, ladies and gentlemen. Which means that in this ideal reality, human who love being in the characterization, which means that they're also gonna bring this identity in the virtual world itself, ladies and gentlemen. And thirdly, in their status quo about the partial virtuality that we already implemented, for example, in the world where AI war occurs between the countries, and how the pressures that are being happening in the game world itself, shows that in the current adaptation itself has several flaws that not being resolved by the government side. Then how come they want to transfer all of these physical realities into the new realities that they're proposing? And fourthly, they never shows to us the reason why why we would abandon our physical presence right now, ladies and gentlemen. Is it because of the health issues, or is it because of identity issues, or is it because they want to create a new ideologies of one world philosophies, ladies and gentlemen? Because I can say that the human being itself gonna oppose this idea, because human beings have a sense of attachment to their physical bodies, which means that however we are going to create an ideal realities, they didn't want to abandon their physical realities itself, ladies and gentlemen. Before I go into our case, I would allow one PI.
Thank you. As I previously defined our motion for today, for the possible way for this motion to be viable for this debate is that building on the basis of the possibility of this, we're not talking about the mechanisms, because there's no point in proving it. Otherwise, the debate will not be able to continue. So building upon the possible future where ideal virtual reality can exist. Can you clarify?
So I want to kite that because it is important in this debate to know how the mechanization works. Because did you know that in order for us to create a virtual reality, there's several stakeholders involved in this kind of RAM to be created? For example, how we are going to recruit the tech companies to develop this largely world of this large RAM, for example, ladies and gentlemen. That's why in our case, for the opposition side, we want to stick to the status quo. But in a better world, we believe that actual reality and virtual reality should be coexisted with each other based on our three arguments. First, abandoning by creating the virtual reality, gonna create new colonization and economic equalities between nations. Secondly, we are going to talk about how it can dehumanize the value of humanity and morality. And thirdly, how it can removing the idea of sustainability and physical enjoyment to the human being, ladies and gentlemen. Moving on to our first argument about new colonization and economic equalities between nations. We can see that in previous situation where colonization happened, for example in Malaysia, where British colony of Malaysia, they want to create this ideal reality of having more to conquer more spaces in the earth itself by introducing horrific reality to the Malaysian to provide the British with a precious raw materials and fragrant spices, for example, ladies and gentlemen. And this situation of colonization is a very bad impact to those who are to those in the third world country. And we can compare it to the new kind of colonization, which is the neo-colonization, because of the virtual reality are gonna create the space, a new space itself, which means that the countries that are driven by these ideal realities of more technological advanced country, it gonna intimidate to the third world countries and increase more power to the countries that have the capabilities of developing this kind of reality. For example, we can see that in the situation of conquering space itself, in the space race, only USA, China, and Russia have this kind of technologies to move forward in the space race, which means that this same situation is gonna happen when they can they can conquer a new reality or new spaces, which is the virtual one, and those who are incapable of having this ideal world are gonna caught in the crossfire between this big country, ladies and gentlemen. And because of this, how those who don't have the power, they're gonna seek the protection between this country, and doesn't it creating the same thing as creating the colonization, because this country that cannot support the idea of virtuality are gonna caught in the being a slavation into those who have the bigger power and better power. Thank you.
Thank you, Opposition Leader. The Opposition Leader spoke for 7 minutes and 9 seconds. To continue our debate today, I call upon the Deputy Prime Minister, Mr. Aloysius, to counter the Opposition's arguments.
Oh, I think he needs to step forward, sorry. Sorry, Chairperson?
Sorry,
Chairperson,
Mr.
I believe
Aloysius,
he's not on the podium.
Yeah, you actually have to step onto the podium so that the judges can hear, because they can't hear it inside. Sorry.
Is it okay now? Yeah. I would like to repeat my speech again. Okay. Greetings to the chairperson, esteemed timekeeper, my just opponents in front of me, and as well as all the beloved audience watching via the live stream. I'm grateful to be given the opportunity to be here today representing T.Ribe in the grand finals of this competition. Before I start with my contention today, I would like to touch upon the points brought up by the first speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, let's bring it back to the motion today, which is this House would abandon actual reality in favor of an ideal virtual reality. Ladies and gentlemen, we are not arguing about the possibility of this happening right now, like what the opposition speaker has said. We are arguing about the benefits that it can bring, especially in a world where it's run autonomously without the use of human intervention. This whole argument is decimated by this simple definition presented by my beloved Prime Minister today. And when you remove that, what is left from what the speaker has said? Nothing. He talks about economic inequalities and that will happen, and colonization that will happen, and brings real world examples, and bring up the importance of raw resources, which only further emphasizes the need for the ideal world concept to happen. Now, moving on, I would like to further detail the stance that my Prime Minister has presented on the table today, with my contention, which is that we should be aware of the shortcomings of our actual reality and the large-scale solutions that an ideal virtual reality can bring. And I feel that this invaluable benefits is just conveniently ignored by the opposition speaker. Think about it. What do we need to talk about is that how the original argument hints that in a hyper-realistic virtual reality might just be the best case scenario for us. Perhaps we should hope we are living in a simulation. Because existing in a digital reality may mean the world will not fall to some unfortunate, terrible, surprising end, demise, like humans suddenly going extinct and or tech advancements reaching a standstill. This concept of virtual reality is not as scary as it seems, ladies and gentlemen. And when humans are integrated into this kind of environment, it is not hard to see why we shouldn't do so. Take Plato's allegory about the cave, for example, a concept of ancient times where he argues that people living in a cave will refuse the claims and praises of someone who has managed to escape, no matter how good the outside of the cave may seem. Now that's out of the way, let's look at the endless possibilities that virtual reality can bring. For example, the large-scale problems that definitely depends on human involvement, which can be mitigated or even abolished together. For example, let's talk about disease, like what my Prime Minister has said, and how effectively we can eradicate them. COVID-19 is no doubt a serious problem, and that has plagued the world, and millions of people have been suffering for it, and billions have been affected. However, we also cannot deny that human involvement scrambling to adapt to this situation has only deepened the wound. How many times have you tried to argue to someone about how masks are important and why vaccines are necessary? It's because it responds to real world problems. Well, in an ideal world where we don't even have to worry about this problem because we would not even be in this situation in the first place. Now, I ask you, ladies and gentlemen, and people on the floor, wouldn't you want to live in a world like that rather than the imperfect, horrible, actual reality that we live now? Before I will continue, I would like to accept a PI.
You saying about how this virtual world cannot create some kind of disease, but virtual world depending on technology, which means it's vulnerable to different kind of viruses, for example, code error and something, which means that your situation doesn't even exist in this virtual reality.
All right, thank you. Beloved first speaker, I would like to bring your attention to two things. Number one, we are living in an ideal world. In an ideal world, and including what my contention has really said, which I think you might want to hear again, it's that this kind of diseases will not even happen in the first place. And number two, we are arguing about the benefits that it can bring, not about the infrastructure, not about all the technology that we need to even come up with about the technology and the infrastructure that is needed to build this ideal world. So I don't see what you're trying to ask here. Moving on to my speech. This is why it is imperative that the virtual world is so much better than the actual world. And therefore, the argument that is presented to us has fell flat. I would like to stress again that this House will abandon actual reality in favor of an ideal virtual reality. And I stress again, ideal virtual reality. And therefore, with this, I would strongly support the motion today, and I rest my case. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Prime Minister. The Deputy Prime Minister spoke for 5 minutes and 25 seconds. Next, I would like to call upon the Deputy Leader of Opposition, Ms. Aisha, to continue the debate. The floor is yours.
The judges, the adjudicators, and my and this beautiful house. First off, I want to address some issues or some ideas apparently that were passed to us by the government. So the government currently is disregarding the real needs, the pertinent needs of people who experience this reality, pushing a future that is not shared and envisioned by everyone. First off, you mentioned that something that is ideal doesn't need any kind of mechanism. I don't agree with that. When you see something is ideal, there still needs to be a basis of what this idealism is. If there's no baseline to achieve, what are you achieving? And other than that, you mentioned about how even in this future, like in this future, everything's so great, whatever that's happening right now is not important. I also disagree with that because whatever happens right now can be related to the future because human behavior will never change and history will always repeat itself. All right. And now moving on to the second argument that's going to be presented by the opposition, which is degradation of humanity and morality. What is that? It's about the dehumanization about values, which everyone does have values, but this then drives a few levels of my analysis. So first level, social stratification or social divide. As we all know, currently right now in the digital world, it's all manipulated by private companies. Only the rich are included in this project. Like for example, Facebook, Elon Musk, and currently right now, for virtual reality, the main companies are the big companies like Google, HTC Live, Unity, Microsoft. So even in the future that you talk about, these big companies will be the ones that's controlling the virtual realities. So then this comes upon the issue of our private information, our data. As we all know, even currently, our private information and our conversations are being recorded by these companies. What more later in this virtual reality, they'll hear every single word that you're saying. They know when you sleep. They know when you're crying about your crush. So I don't think that's what we all would want in this new future that you talk about. And this is, as I mentioned, this is already happening. And then on my second level, which is social connections, we are all using social media and we solely depend on it. And you've already seen the effects and addiction of social media and even gaming. You talk about, how gaming is so great. Of course, gaming is great, but with a small, with restriction. You always have to give yourself, you always have to take things within quantity, not overload yourself with such indulgence, For example, today, we know that it's such a big issue with China putting on a limitation on children below 18 of playing video games because they've already seen the destruction of what gaming has brought upon these children's minds. For example, in the gaming community, you can already see toxic communities of cyberbullying. Hold on a second. You can already see people getting cyberbullied. For example, we all have heard about the case of Amanda Todd. May she rest in peace. We know that she's been stalked, she's been followed, and then she's been harassed and been bullied, and she killed herself at the age of 15. You never even talk about whether this virtual reality is limited to children or to adults. You never put an age cap. So people's lives are at risk. Their mental health are at risk if there's no sort of guidelines in your ideal virtual reality. So this is why we believe that at the very least, if you want virtual reality to exist, it should be with some sort of limitation, and therefore reality needs to coexist with virtual reality. Okay, now to our third argument. We talk about sustainability. How will VR actually be sustainable in terms of social, economical, and of course the environment? So how is the mechanism going to be sustainable in the long run? Because as we all know, virtual reality would require a lot of energy to run. For example, right now, currently, like high computing intensive work needs high amounts of energy. Like for example, AI-based systems, they need more servers and data which need a lot of energy and to cool it down. So these training machine learning programs, right now, objectively, they use about 300 round trips from San Francisco to New York within only an hour. So imagine this. If the whole world is using this virtual reality, I think this earth is going to burn out within a second. So and then now I come into social. So this new accepted reality will retain issues that the physical world cannot combat. For example, like in real life, we already experience seasonal depression. When the times change, when the season changes, our emotions change along with it as well. For example, in the winter, people may feel more depressed. During the summer, maybe you might be a bit upbeat. So when this virtual reality exists, people might experience virtual depression. You never know. Once someone is within that virtual system for so long, once they come back to reality, when they actually need to do their normal human needs, they might be depressed. This might cause into more depression than the escapism that they're getting. Yes? All right, thank you for asking me that. If you were to abandon it, like totally, how are you gonna survive? How are you gonna eat? Are you just gonna stay there in the world until your last living breath? I don't think that's a true life. All right, continuing with my argument, another than that is how will people still go on with religion? Because as we know, majority of the world, people on this world have some sort of religion. How would they practice that religion within the virtual reality? It's just another form of escapism. So what we know, maybe new sorts of cults will be formed within those virtual reality, and that may be unhealthy, as we've seen the certain types of cults that we've seen on the internet. And other than that, with like coexistence, if everyone were to escape from reality, who will take care of the animals? Who will take care of the plants? Who will be the ones responsible over the earth that has been graced by us by God? So, and then thirdly, now I come to economics. As we know, virtual reality requires funds in terms of devices, software, materials, and many more. Even in your ideal world, people still need to pay money for all of this. It's not just going to come as easy as that on your hands. So, as we know, if this is a new technology, everyone's starting to get to it, it'll be expensive and people will come rushing for it. But only the rich. So what will happen? Would the rich be the ones in control and the poor be the slaves towards these people in the virtual reality? All right, that's all from me. Thank you.
Deputy Leader of Opposition. The Deputy Leader of Opposition spoke for 7 minutes and 9 seconds. Gentle reminder to all speakers that when you deliver your speech, please stand on the ottoman. And when you also deliver POIs, please also stand on the ottoman. Next, I would like to call upon the government whip, Ms. Jasmine, to deliver your speech. The floor is yours.
Okay, I think everyone can hear me, right? Okay, let me just start. So first, salutations to the educator, chairperson, timekeeper, my worthy opponents, my fellow teammates, and member of the floor. So we as the government team fully support and agree with the motion today, which is this House would abandon actual reality in favor of an ideal reality. My name is Jasmine and I'm the third speaker of the government team, and I'll be rebutting all the statements given by the first and the second speaker of the opposition team, starting with the first speaker. The first speaker, he has stated that, the leader of the opposition has stated that how does our mechanism in our ideal virtual reality works and everything. I would just like to bring it back, our definition brought up by our Prime Minister, where he defines that it's an ideal virtual reality. So the ideal is something that is perfect, and it's for everyone, meaning that it's something that is perfect, so there won't be any. And just to re-clarify the motion for today, which is this House would abandon actual reality in favor of an ideal virtual reality. I repeat, abandon actual reality. So it does not rely on actual reality. And he also stated that human beings are going to oppose this idea and how they wouldn't want to actually have this ideal virtual reality. I would just like to bring some of the facts back, where my Prime Minister has stated that 61% of the gaming sector are actually using virtual reality, and they have been utilizing it even now, and how it is also already being used in the medical and education sector, with 41% in each sector, and how it has bring us a lot of benefits medically and educationally. And they also stated how there will be one of the points given by the opposition was colonization, and how they give us example of how British colonized Malaysia by getting raw material from Malaysia, and how this by having this ideal virtual reality, we would actually have a neo-colonization where because we're creating a new space. All the developed countries is gonna intimidate other third world countries. For example, like US and China would actually have access to all of these, where other third developing countries won't have access. And also they stated that those who doesn't have access to it would actually be on a disadvantage. But I would just like to reinstate again that we as the government strongly disagree with this point. As the government side, we have defined that we would abandon actual reality in favor of an ideal virtual reality. I repeat, ideal. So hence it will benefit all and every single person. And ideal and perfect is different from every single human being. So I would say that by having this ideal and virtual reality, it allows us to have a lot of potential and kind of create unlimited potential. So each and every person could actually create their own ideal virtual reality, and it wouldn't affect any other person in a certain sense. So in this terms, it doesn't really prove their point of how having this ideal virtual reality actually colonize other countries. And then I would just like to say the second speaker also stated something about that a future that is not shared, or how it does not how it needs mechanism and everything. So I just try to bring it back. I think the opposition is missing the point where this with the motion which is the point of abandon. So this house would abandon the actual reality in favor of an ideal virtual reality. So it means that we won't rely on the actual reality to actually have this ideal virtual reality. And the second speaker also stated how it will dehumanize people, it would socially divide, or how all the social medias and stuff is manipulated by the large company like Microsoft, Apple, and everything. On our side, we believe that if it's an ideal virtual reality is to be created perfectly, ideally, that it will be autonomous, so no one would actually have an upper hand over one another, and everyone would have equal rights and equal access to all of this ideal virtual reality. And the opposition also argues that in ideal virtual reality, there will be problems caused by inequality distributions of material resources. But in an ideal virtual reality, there is no sense of materiality. Anything is possible. Material resources have no value and in an immaterial world. And then they also stated how talking about emotions, how you don't know when you cry or anything. I would just like to say our ideal virtual reality could actually just kind of yes, please.
What exactly your definition of ideal reality? Because in your rebuttal, it seems like no one there. No one living in those virtual reality, because you said that no intimidation, nothing happen, nothing interaction happening in this virtual reality. So what kind of ideal virtual reality is that?
Okay, let me just clarify. So what I meant was, in this ideal virtual reality, we could also have, for example, everyone coexist and live in a world but virtually together. But in the same time, if there's any dispute or any, for example, you don't like a person, for example, you could just kind of make that person disappear from your definition of virtual reality. So in that point, you could actually have your own ideal, because I would say why we didn't define ideal, it's because that each and everyone have a different form of ideal virtual reality. And next, I would just like to say on how they also talked about how a sustainability mechanism and how it requires a lot of energy. And I think I stated all the points to rebut all of this in my previous rebuttals. And they also stated about how VR exists. If VR exists, there'll be VR depressions. I would say I would like to just bring it back to our definition of ideal virtual reality, where it is a better world and it could actually personalize to each and everyone's need of virtual reality, and it has unlimited possibilities. And with that, we as I would just like to restate our stand, which we as the government fully support, with the argument which this house will abandon actual reality in favor of an ideal virtual reality. With that, I would like to rest my case.
Thank you, Government Whip. The government whip spoke for 7 minutes and 5 seconds. Next, I would like to call upon the opposition whip, Mr. Tiet, to present his case. The floor is yours.
Am I clear? Is my voice clear?
Sorry?
Is my voice clear?
Oh yeah, your voice is clear.
Thank you. Beautiful members of the House, we are not living in the 19th century. Virtual reality is not magic. The first instances of virtual reality are novels and storybooks which are created by humans, and they need trees and they need ink and they need pencils to produce. And the internet, which is the second instance of virtual reality, they need human, they need digital infrastructure to produce. So it is disingenuous to say that we can create a virtual reality without these physical, tangible elements. So, beautiful members of the House, we already have an example of virtual reality which is not mentioned by the government. I believe you all know Grand Theft Auto GTA, a GTA virtual reality. Well, how did that go? Well, we're going to kill other people, we're going to steal other people's cars, and people with poor graphic cards, poor processors, they cannot experience the true beautifulness and true graphics of that virtual world. This is what's happening in our virtual world. Now, it's important to understand that there is no ideal when there are different visions and different people. And ideal reality is different for different people in different communities. Now, let's take a look at the mechanisms or lack thereof by the government. There's no baseline. What is ideal? Who will benefit? They talk about the benefits of a virtual reality, but to who? To what communities? How different communities will have different benefits? How is it equitable to different people? So there are two clash points that we have identified. First is about inclusivity, because the government, the Prime Minister and Deputy Prime Minister has mentioned how it includes all communities, but this has been proven to be wrong because virtual worlds, and the best example of it is Facebook, which is a virtual community group. It drives people with the same mindset and same ideologies together while disincentivizing exchanges with different groups of people. And we're seeing echo chambers by right-wing radicals. And secondly, social inclusivity. Well, we are seeing people who had a head start in these virtual realities, people who had better skins, people who had higher levels, and those new players going in would have a tougher time to get the true better experience of that virtual world. This is what's happening in virtual worlds now. Now, the second clash point is in regards to physicality, where the government has, especially the Deputy Prime Minister, has stated that people with diseases, people won't experience any physical pain, well, and people can be immortal. Well, beautiful members of the House, data is immortal. Humans are not. We are merely experiencing virtual reality. Our data will be immortal, but humans won't. This is a very important point to understand. So, several rebuttals. And firstly, I would like to state that the opposition still stands firmly on our stance that actual reality and virtual reality should coexist. And these are several levels of analysis on examples provided by the government. Now, Pokemon Go is a very good example of coexistence. People, communities have physical meetups, human meetups in person, while also remaining connected through that game. So this is one example of coexistence. The second example of coexistence by the Deputy Prime Minister, which stated that diseases, people who are suffering from COVID-19, they can get this help in digital worlds. Well, that is not true. Humans get physical health on the ground. They get physical health, they get consultations, while at the same time they remain connected through Zoom and virtual meetings apps. This is another second strong point that coexistence is actually better and it does more good than harm. And thirdly, in the example provided by the government, we can again see another example of coexistence. Now, she was talking about disregarding social interaction, so we won't have these different clashes. Well, it showed that humans need a very intricate balance from human to human communications and also online interactions, which are moderated by humans anyway. So moving on to the opposition's arguments. So I would like to reiterate our stance again that actual reality and virtual reality should coexist instead of abandoning one in favor of another, ladies and gentlemen. So we have already shown how the key clash points and the examples given by the government has already been dismantled by the opposition. So now, what are our arguments? I would like to summarize this debate. Our first argument, we say that virtual realities would push economic and political divide. So how does this happen? Well, ladies and gentlemen, an ideal reality for people who are suffering in Bangladesh, who are suffering in Pakistan, is to have physical comforts, is to have good food, is to have good clothing. Well, an ideal reality for people in more advanced countries would be to have better software, would be to get better virtual reality. So these are all different perceptions of ideal realities, which has already mentioned by the opposition leader, ladies and gentlemen. So what about the second point, degradation of humanity and morality? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have already shown how this coexistence is needed based on how content in virtual community groups need to be moderated by real humans. And these are all being extracted from human to human communications. We see the standards of how we should talk to each other in the real world. And that is why we can carry that into the online world, where we see the worst examples of this in cyberbullying, in catfishing. When we remove the elements of real life, we don't know who's behind that. And virtual reality provides a masquerade for these people to conceal their real identities. And it incentivizes people to harm others because they do not see who's behind the screen, who's behind the avatar. So they can just inflict harm. They can just take data from them, which already mentioned by the Prime Minister, data that people can rewind, people can go back to this point in life. So they can see this. So what makes you so certain that other people cannot access your private memories in virtual reality as well? And moving on to our third argument by the opposition about sustainability. Well, we've already said that virtual reality is not magic. It's not black magic. It needs something to sustain it. So without sustenance, the virtual reality would crumble and fail. So what is the sustainability that we talk about? And this is where the coexistence comes in. So without creating a better world, how can humans survive to experience virtual reality? So AI needs energy, and people also need shelter. People need sources of food. So if we disregard actual reality, we disregard these sources of food, we disregard the environment, we disregard the computer hardware and software needed to power virtual reality, how would that ideal virtual reality exist? It can exist, but of course on a planet without humans, without trees, without animals. So it's just a computer on planet Earth. So what is the point of an ideal virtual reality when we disregard these very real human problems? Because ultimately, humans experience virtual reality. Humans need to be present to experience them. If humans are not present, who will experience these physical realities, these virtual realities? So, beautiful members of the House, the opposition proudly opposes the motion that the House would abandon actual reality in favor of an ideal virtual reality. Because, ladies and gentlemen, ideal is different for everyone. And people come from different backgrounds. And we need to take into account all these very human problems before pushing them into one unified vision, before pushing them into one single virtual reality, ladies and gentlemen. So that is why the government proudly stands that actual reality and virtual reality should coexist. Thank you.
Thank you, Opposition Whip. The Opposition Whip spoke for 7 minutes and 1 second. Now, 3 minutes will be given to both teams to prepare for their reply speeches. The time starts now. Your 3 minutes is up. Ladies and gentlemen, this debate will resume with implied speeches. Let us now invite the opposition team to sum up the case for today's debate.
Virtual member of the House. Firstly, we are going to see what kind of world that the government are proposing in this debate. Because we should be agree that in this motion, we have to believe that the world, by creating the virtual world or virtual reality is possible, but they fail to show to us what the transition process happened in abandoning the actual reality. So I can conclude that they are trying to say, based on their arguments and their rebuttals, is that in this world that they are proposing, there are no physical bodies existed. And how can this transition happen? Because of human being are transferring their consciousness and they can have their virtual bodies. And this is what I've been analyzing based on all of their speeches. But by having this consciousness transfers, which means that they still have their own ideologies, they still bring their identities, they still bring their behaviors and their character, and which means that because of these values, every concern, every problems, and every histories that happens in actual world are gonna repeat the history itself, and the problem is just gonna be the same as in actual reality, as well as happening in the virtual reality, which means that we can see this based on three clashes of point. First, they said that in terms of criminality, when someone is deemed as bad person or entitled as criminal, then in the virtual reality, they just gonna delete themselves from the reality, which means that this point is violating the values of humanities and morality itself, because it doesn't mean that every bad people are going to be punished in the manners of in the permanent manners, ladies and gentlemen. Secondly, they mentioned about the war and conflict, which we already proved about how in the virtual reality itself, because of the presence of identities that being brought up by the consciousness transfer, the idea of neo-colonization is still going to happen. They're still going to create a new nationalism and new national ideologies in this virtual world. And thirdly, about the disease and health issues pointing out by the second minister, which is already pointed out in the POI, which virtual reality also had the vulnerabilities of having viruses or technical difficulties or even the code errors that can contribute to different kind of viruses, which means that in virtual world or actual world, the same condition is going to happen because of this, because the consciousness transfers doesn't mean that it can change the behaviors of this human being, ladies and gentlemen. And secondly, the most problematic part is that they fail to give to us what is their ideal realities that they're gonna put. Because I can say that the ideal realities that they want to propose in this motion is actually a form of escapism, ladies and gentlemen, which means that we cannot run from the problem, because however we run into another reality, the problem is still gonna happen. And they said that ideal realities are different. Different people have different ideals, ladies and gentlemen. And because of this, as I mentioned before, that they also have people that their ideal realities is refusing this kind of the existence of virtuality. For example, a certain group of ideologies that reject the idea of immortality and believe in afterlife. Those kind of people is gonna reject the idea of full abandoning actual realities and focusing on virtualities, which means that they are cannot be existed, and this transition cannot be happen, and that's why the opposition belief of coexistence is better rather than abandoning the physical realities. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kushairi, for summing up the opposition's team. Lastly, we welcome the government team to sum up their case for today's debate.
Give me some time, I'm just making sure I'm in the right space. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, very good evening again, especially especially to the audience. I would like to say that, to sum up, in my closing speech, so humanity's present, past, and future has always been restricted by the physical reality and with physical constraints. And now this is what we've been arguing this whole time. An ideal virtual reality is free from such physical constraints, actual constraints of the actual reality, which we can sum it up in as time, space, and matter. Now, the ideal virtual reality is free from such constraints, the constraint of time, space, and matter as presented in our points earlier. The ideal virtual reality is entirely independent from this physical reality. The opposition's arguments are very much still restricted by these constraints, by time, a colonization point that they have brought up on how different countries develop their virtual reality in different pace and speeds. Now, that is the issue of time. We are not arguing for that transition process. We are arguing for the ideal virtual reality that this process will eventually lead to. That is the virtual reality that we want, ladies and gentlemen. That is the ideal, an ideal that is free from the constraint of time and process. Now, in the ideal reality, material does not matter. Material has no sense, has no value, because in the virtual reality, everything is immaterial. Anything can be what you want. Now, they argued on how inequality will persist, imbalance will persist, power, imbalance of resources. All of these things have lost their sense and connection to each individual in an ideal virtual reality, because anything can be what you want. Anything is possible. There's no sense of matter. There's no sense of materiality. Everything simply, anything can be what you want. And they have yet to accept this idea of an ideal virtual reality that is free from such constraint. They also talked about how the space, the constraint of space still remains within their argument, and how our physical body will remain in the physical reality, and how plants and animals and trees and the physical world still remains in the spatial constraint of the actual reality. But ladies and gentlemen, in an ideal virtual reality, all these things can be taken care of. In an ideal virtual reality, we have an ideal infrastructure, an ideal system that will cover every single aspect of this, enough for us to abandon actual reality, enough for us to take our minds off actual reality and fully dive into this ideal world where everything can be possible. And they talk about the degradation of humanity, and humanity has no more sense in this virtual reality where everything is possible. Now, I beg to differ, because the physical body itself still remains, and it actually brings back the humanity to virtual reality. Now, there is a possible death of the body in a physical sense, but that will mean death in the virtual reality, and with death comes meaning to the life spent and the time spent within the virtual reality, within the ideal virtual reality. Now, the problems highlighted by the opposition comes from these terrible injustices that's affecting the world now, currently, because we are still restrained by all these physical constraints of time, space, and matter, resources, inequality. These are all very limited to the actual reality that we're in. But us, the government, has spent all our precious time bringing the audience and the floor to explore the ideal virtual reality. But the opposition is still stuck and constrained with the actual reality, and that is why we believe that it is time to abandon. It is better for us and humanity to abandon actual reality and move and enjoy the ideal virtual reality that we create for ourselves. And the very definition of madness is to is to try the same solution over and over again for a single problem. But virtual reality is the new solution for all these problems. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Justin, for summing up the government's case. Ladies and gentlemen, with that marks the end of the debate today. Honorable adjudicators will be directed to another breakout room for 10 minutes to decide the winner of this debate.
Oh.
Okay.
Seats for the finalists.
Let's just go to another corner.
We just go into one of the quarantine rooms, I guess.
Yeah.
Is this still being streamed?
Right now they have a transition screen. It says waiting adjudicators discussion.
Oh, nice. Whoops. Oh yeah, let's play Tetris.
Guys, the final round
Let's
is
go,
Tetris.
let's go.
We've established this. Let's go.
Yeah, final round is Tetris.
Wait, how are we doing this?
Oh god. Where is it? Huh?
Come on, let's play Tetris.
Oh wait, which lobby are you guys in? Okay, I'm the Suba.
Which room? Which room?
What?
Thing.
What room is this?
Are you? Is it your room? I think it's with Shiri's room. Shiri, are you playing?
I see the Suba, I see Wilkis, I see Uwe.
Yeah, I'm Wilkis. Okay, let's make a new lobby. New lobby.
Oh, for real?
Let's see. Wilkis's room. Create.
Wilkis's room.
Do you guys see it? It's on the bottom of custom rooms.
Not yet. Let me reload.
Wilkis, alright.
Yes.
Got it.
Okay, are you guys in?
I mean, we can live stream this, right? Sure.
There's-
Tetris skills.
They're
streaming it right now.
streaming it right now. Okay. Shah, we cannot hear you, but yeah.
What room is it?
It's
Wilkis.
Wilkis. Oh, guys. Oh no, they're gonna see how bad we are at Tetris.
Will
No. Is everybody in? Wilkis, go to lobby. Click lobby.
Okay,
And
lobby.
then, Shah, if you want to play, you can play too. Click lobby and then look for Wilkis. Oh yeah, I think you're in the room already.
I'm waiting.
Yeah, I need to restart once everybody enters.
I'm already in the room.
Wilkis?
Oh, okay, found it.
Tribe, do you guys want to join? Krabat, do
You guys want to join? Aloysius, Justin, Jasmine.
They went to the toilet.
Oh,
and
nice.
I for somehow I can't play the Tetris. It's just like a blank screen. I love playing Tetris.
Oh my god, this is suffering.
Is it?
Oh.
I want to play
That's
also.
so sad.
Try going to Justin's laptop.
Yeah, use your laptop.
Yeah, use their laptop. It's okay. They're in the toilet anyway.
She's switching.
What am I
Oh,
playing?
I'm on fire, guys. I'm on fire.
Guys, I have to restart this.
Okay,
No,
just
on the
wait
round
for
that I'm on fire. This
Yeah,
is
you're on
intentional.
fire.
You guys vote for Jasmine.
Okay, we
Okay,
could go for Jasmine.
fine.
Ah, shit. Oh no, I'm not
I think
supposed to.
Shah's playing his own game with somebody.
Oh, you guys start already, right?
No, we're
It's
just
okay, we can restart.
we'll restart. Don't worry.
On my best round, we can restart.
Yeah. Because Tia cannot win.
Wow. Wow.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So everyone, welcome to my Twitch channel. Today we're streaming.
Twitch channel. Today we're streaming with the besties from Tribe.
Oh my god, I'm losing. Oh yeah, we can probably restart now.
Yes, this is
Hey,
really
just because you're losing, right?
We can probably restart now.
Okay, is Jasmine in yet?
Let's go, let's go.
Yeah, are you in? Okay, I'm gonna restart. Are you?
Okay.
Are you
I'm
in?
here.
Okay, guys.
Yeah.
If you can restart, so I'm also restart, right?
Oh wait, who's? I'm not the thing anymore. I'm not the leader anymore. I can't click new game for some reason.
I can't click new game.
You do it.
I think
I cannot click the new game.
Whoever can click new game, I think you guys have to click new game.
Oh,
finish this
dude.
Okay, just finish this round. Just finish this round.
I don't think. Okay.
Just quickly die lah. I'm pushing down.
Okay. Let's push quickly do that. Okay, yeah. I didn't think of that.
New game out.
Okay.
Over here.
Sorry?
I'm playing
It's
on
an
yours
announcement.
because I can't play on mine.
Guys, there's an announcement, I think.
Oh, what? I muted somebody because they were talking during quarantine.
What
Is
announcement?
Shiva, are you talking?
I pressed new game.
I'm not talking.
Oh, we're playing a new game. Never mind. No need announcement.
I want to play.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you in? Are you in? Jasmine?
Okay, yes.
Oh,
Let's go.
How can I know which one is you?
Where did I'm Wilkis. Somebody else is Disuba and the others.
I'm
I don't even know my name.
It says it on the chat.
Oh, Shah is joining also. Wow. Let's go. Wait, I think they're in another
Guys,
room.
take down the MC.
I think they're in another room, lah.
Oh.
Auni?
We're in another room.
Oh, we picked. Is it?
No, I'm Wilkis.
Whoa.
Nobody wanted to challenge you, Shah. You're too good.
This is how we will convince the judges to let us win.
Yeah. They're gonna see our results. Yeah. This is some good playing techniques. Oh god.
Long spot.
No, I'm stuck. I'm sorry. I'm so bad at this. Oh, Jasmine, I think she's.
Ooh, I'm stuck.
Jasmine, what's your name on the thing?
But Justin's back.
Oh. Shoot, I'm stuck.
Oh.
I don't know.
Oh.
I opened my mic.
Oh shit.
This feels like more intense than the.
This is more intense than the debate.
Let's go.
Tetris. They're doing a Tetris cheer. No.
Let's go.
Show your dominance. Like this. They like this better than the actual one, right?
Yeah.
Whoops.
At least now they actually understand.
Now they understand the topic.
The topic is to win.
Yep.
No, I just felt like the both of us.
And I'm gonna die.
Oh shit! No!
Asha, streaming regular. You can't curse.
I did it.
I lost.
Let's go.
Hey, I think Shah's playing a different game, lah.
Shah's playing a different game.
Yeah,
Yes,
with Bangwon. I think Bangwon was
me.
Justin. Yeah. It was Justin's computer.
Hey, should we join them?
How do we join them?
What's your room name, guys?
Is it Ojo?
Ocho. Okay, let's see who's in the group. In the Uchula.
Wait, what's the name? What's the room name?
There's 5 people in this room.
Whoa.
But 2 of them are not playing.
Chenji? Oh.
Which one is it?
Sorry, Auni, what's the room name?
I'm trying to look. Let's see. Is it Oria? No. Uchula? Is it your room?
You guys can like type in there. You can leave.
I'm just gonna bangguan.
Then we know whether you're in the room or not.
Nope. I'm just gonna click every single room.
Okay, let us know, Aisha.
Okay,
I'm
let's
too lazy to click
see.
every room.
Aisha, yeah, tell us.
I'm committed.
Nope,
not?
we were me, Aisha,
Oh,
and
so
Tia
just
were
vote
just
of-
going against each other.
Yeah.
Jasmine is Bangwan, right?
Mana though?
Is it too many rooms? Let's
Yeah,
see.
there are a lot.
Too
there's a lot.
many
Yeah,
rooms.
you did say that.
Oh, do you want to
Yeah,
go?
mana?
You're supposed to go to
Can
Wilkes.
either
Hey,
the
can you come?
audience or something
Can
tell
you
They
come
want
to
to-
Wilkes?
They want to come to Will.
Shah, since I can see your screen, right? Can you go to click lobby?
Yeah, click on lobby, Shah.
Lobby bottom, bottom, on the bottom.
Sorry, I kena jaga boundary launch. Tak bagi orang masuk.
Oh.
Okay, sorry.
Can
No,
Shah, at the bottom
at
one.
the bottom of your
WHILKIS. Wilkes.
At the bottom, kan at lobby settings, new game, kan?
Yeah.
Should we go to that?
Oh, are we moving?
Okay.
Yeah, Wilkes.
Wilkes,
Yes.
Wilkes, yeah.
Aina ada.
Yeah.
You Ayo nak main apa ni? Nak main draw Ayo.
Okay, bangun Zin, bangun Zin.
Boleh keluar.
Tak apa.
Hai.
Hey yo.
Kita kena lalu badan kita orang lepas tu tekan X.
Masuk dan
G.
Bukan, yang tu dekat fishbowl. Pergi dekat kita orang. Yang ramai-ramai tu. Walk terus situ tekan. Beria main ni.
Tak sebab semua main Tetris kan.
Tapi game ni lama tau. Tapi boleh je nak exit nanti.
Draw battle the eye. Kesian streamer ni, tukar-tukar game
Okay, jom start game.
Okay, start. Okay, so lawan Nina, alright. Teka apa dia orang lukis?
Oh my god.
Okay, teka je.
Kena tulis. Okay, aku tahu.
Oh.
Sikit lagi. Garden host.
Oi, apa ni?
Terlepas.
Last drawer, bukan last. Okay, tekan start game je. Start game. Alright, Sobe dan Ikram. Alright, let's see. Kita kena teka apa yang Sobe ni, okay? Gula Sobe.
Ya Allah, benda apa tu?
Apa ni Sobe?
Kau sebut masa
Gila ni. Gila dia, aku girl.
Ya Allah. Tak apa. Aku lukis confidence.
Sama dah.
Okay.
Okay, oh my god.
Aina, oi.
Angkat
Okay, guys.
Aina.
Ui, panjangnya. Apa tu? Ajak je.
Kak, dia dekat. Yes. Eja.
Betul ni je.
Thank you.
0.2 seconds. Point 2.
Okay, Ari
Continue je. Ari. Choose Scarecrow or Roblox? Scarecrow. Okay, dah.
Mana ni?
They're here.
Wait.
Aku dah terdengar dah cakap dia tadi.
How do I get in?
My bad,
We have to
tadi.
end their game first.
Oh wait, I saw X. Wait, no, ni fishbowl. Alah.
Okay. Bye.
Oh, okay. Bye.
Jom, bye.
Oh, dah.
Okay.
I step onto the podium kan? Pink one, alright. Alright. Cool. Alright, am I broadcasting to everyone? Everyone can hear me?
Yes.
Alright,
Yes,
beautiful. Okay, cool. So I'll start on my oral adjudication now lah. Right. So maybe I will let everyone know, the participants know, and everyone watching how this feedback is going to go. I think. Wait. Sorry. Won't we be announcing the winners dulu? Okay, general feedback first. Lepas tu, will we be allowed to give proper justifications as to why we chose this team and that team? Okay, all right, okay, cool. Okay, so just general feedback. This was a very good debate. Both sides, good job. You guys did well. I felt like personally, as someone who's been experienced in debate, this was a very engaging and really it was really fun to watch lah. I had a very good time writing down, thinking through what you guys said. So props to both sides for it. I think I've judged both of you before in the same time during one of our prelim rounds. I remember you, and Talos. I think you guys really improved on your arguments since then. The way you elaborate, the way you talk, the way you describe things, and the way you just build your arguments, I thought was so much better than it was during the prelims. So hats off to you guys lah. No matter what, whoever won or lost this debate, I just want to say really good job to both of you for making it all the way to the finals lah. It wasn't really easy, especially with a lot of good teams. So good job lah. Keep it up. I hope you guys can stay in the debate scene in the future. Maybe you'll get to meet me and we get to debate against each other competitively. So yeah, good job to everyone. Yeah. Do I say anything else or?
Just hold on a second, everyone.
Okay. It seems like Shana's the one to give the throne. Okay. All right. So congratulations first of all to both teams. Okay, you guys did a very good job. Okay, but I must say there's a clear winner for tonight that we unanimously actually chosen already. Okay, but in terms of educational maybe tips, when you make an argument, okay, it is good if you can relate to some theoretical insights, okay, at the beginning of your motion, okay, and then give some arguments and then give examples. Okay, it's very important to give examples to support your argument. So I think that's what actually differentiate between the first and the second place. Okay, so we will know who's the winner later. So but basically from someone who I don't know about your background, from someone who doesn't have debates background, maybe perhaps you guys did a good job, great job. So keep it up, and perhaps you can sign up for debate team soon in your own university in the future. Okay, I think that's all from me.
Alright. Hey, can everybody hear me? All
Yes,
right. Okay, thank you. Wow. It's a clash of titans. My goodness. Oh my god. I wish I'd be like a student now, because this remind me when I was a secondary school. I was also a debaters, represent my school, represent my Penang states. The way I'm so, the way you
I wish
debate, I'd be like I'm so proud of you guys, from Talos, Mo Guayi, Aloysius, Jasmine, Aum Stripes, Tia, Kusairi, Aisyah, Aunia, I'm so proud of you. Um, thumbs up with the way you debates. I leave it to Asnaf, because I told Asnaf and Dr. Zach, I'm more looking on the building industry perspective. Because it's very important as an architect, because you are the future architects. The way debates, I mean, I can surely that you are good debaters, but for me, more to the reflections part. As an architect, when you start to make a points, for example, if let's say your clients start to argue with you, and then how you want to defend your points there. For example, I spoke to Asnaf during discussion with Dr. Z. If you hold it a bottle, your design is a bottle, and then your client might ask you that why your design is like a bottle, why you choose a bottle. So it's not about to protect or to defend that a bottle is a bottle, but it's the point of convincing. You know what I mean? So I'm sure that three of us clearly enough to make a decision, but for all of the debaters tonight in the final round, I'm so proud of you guys. Yeah, you should give a round of applause to you all. I mean, thumbs up to all of you. Very energetic, full of a positive energy there. Uh, I wish you all the best. Okay, thumbs up. I'm so happy and I'm so proud of you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Alright, so yeah. Right. Thank you to the teacher for the feedback. We all are so proud of all the teachers and finally from Talos and also
Stripe.
yeah. Okay, so so this
Yeah.
time to um this is the most located time to all the participants, to all the debaters, and all, especially the finalists to know who will win the virtual ICT video competition 2021.
Yes. But before that, Shah,
Yeah.
I just want to just re-mention on the prize that the the winner will get after this. So the first winner will get 1,000 ringgit Malaysia. The second winner will get 700 ringgit Malaysia, and the third winner gonna get 500 ringgit Malaysia, and 200 ringgit Malaysia is for the best debater.
Yeah, that's a huge amount of money. So thank you everyone at the mission for sponsoring the best prize to all the winners. Okay, so before I announce the winner, so I just would like to um, get some paper for you guys. So please welcome you guys can subscribe our YouTube channel because there are a lot of activities that we're gonna do in our program. So this workshop we're gonna have CDD and today we are going to talk the CDD too. So you need to subscribe so that we do it live on this YouTube, then you guys can uh, get the notification. Okay, so orang kalau
Okay, I already level up the volume for my mic. Okay, sorry for the technical error. So Shifa, who we gonna to announce first?
I think the best speaker first.
Okay, so we announce the best speaker first, but that doesn't mean that the best speaker is the winner, but he is or she is the best speaker for this final round.
Yeah, she. Okay, she.
She
I
also.
think.
She also.
I don't know.
Okay. So I would like to announce the best speaker for the final of Virtual Architecture Debate Competition 2021. So the best speaker is T.Ribe from Tribe, University of Malaya. So kita highlight sikit kita highlight sikit. So this day, hi T, please lambai dekat kau punya
Hi.
followers, you punya
Hi
fans.
guys. I'm obligated to say please subscribe and also leave a like button, click the notifications bell.
Yeah, betul. And also don't forget to follow our Instagram. Okay. Alright, so congrats to T.Ribe from University of Malaya. Okay, next. This is the most weighted berdebar. Sifat lah, sifat announce. Okay, so who will win the first winner of the virtual architecture debate? Siapa Sifah?
Wait a minute. Shah, can you please check my chat for a while?
Alah, tak dengar lagi ke?
Nak buat suspend. Tak. You baca teks I dulu.
Teks alamak, ada orang WhatsApp pula.
Bukan dekat WhatsApp. Dekat Gather Town.
Oh, okay. Okay, sekejap
Yang lain relax dulu, okay? Chill dulu.
Okay, so I already announced the Sifah. Oh yeah.
Okay. So I already know the winner, okay?
Okay, so the winner for the first architecture debate competition VADC2021
is
Tribe from University of Malaya.
Congratulations!
Congratulations to Tribe. I think can you guys sitting on the zone logo? Standing on the zone logo. Yeah, so these are the winner. Kejap I kena expand you punya ni. Where's Tribe? So this is Kushairi, the Prime Minister of Tribe. And then we have siapa lagi?
Mr. TA.
Okay, so this the Mr. TA. Also the best debater for tonight. So you will win RM200 cash prize. And then we have Aisyah, Deputy Leader of Opposition. And then the last one we have Aunia. So Aunia is the finalist and also the members of Tribe. So congratulations.
Congratulations.
So this is our winner. So last but not least, our second winner for Virtual Architecture Debate Competition 2021 goes to T.Ribe
Talos from Talos University. Congratulations, guys. You guys did very well tonight. Impressed.
Okay. So tahniah ya semua, congratulations to all. Okay. So I think we need T.Ribe Talos to go on the middle of the stage. So I want to introduce all the T.Ribe Talos to the audience. Mana aku punya pointer ni? Okay, this one.
Actually kita nak bagi feedback ni.
Okay, so kenapa gerak-gerak ni? T.Ribe Talos. Kenapa hilang semua ni? Okay, so this Aloysius from T.Ribe Talos, and then we have kejap I need to look at my screen siapa yang ada. And then this is Jasmine. Kenapa hilang? Okay, this is Jasmine. And then this is Justin. Oh, Justin and Jasmine. And then who's another one?
Aloysius, right?
Aloysius. And then Clarence Christopher. Tak jumpa lah kat dalam screen ni. Okay, tak apa, I share this poster on the live YouTube. Alright, so guys, before we forget, we also have the third winner. The third winner, which has debating last evening between USM and also UIA, and the third winner is Kerabat Uya.
Kerabat Uya from IIUM.
IIUM.
Congratulations, IIUM.
So Kerabat Uya, can you get into the stage please? Naik, jangan malu-malu. So we have Nina, we have Ismail, Sauban, and also we have Ikram. Okay. So I think that's would be the end of our no, not yet. I think the judge gonna have to want to have apa nama, feedback again to the winners, right? So we give it to the Shanaf. So please Shanaf, get your mic.
Cool, beautiful. Everyone can hear me?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So I think it's best for me to just justify on behalf of my panel of adjudicators as to why we had to choose, not why we had to choose, it sounds so bad, why we chose UM over Talos as the winner of this round. So I think, first off, both sides you guys did pretty well in terms of your arguments, like in terms of structure, in terms of elaboration. Both teams did manage to, give a very nice to hear speech lah. You guys really did talk well, and that one I can say good job to you all. However, the reason why all three of us agreed that UM had to take the win is because of one glaring flaw that was present in Taylor's side, which is the lack of a mechanism. Okay, so maybe you should know first lah, as a government, and you have a motion like this where it says the House would abandon actual reality in favor of an ideal virtual reality. You cannot just give us the benefits. You cannot just tell us, hey, it's going to be good if you do it this way. Of course, anyone can argue for the benefits or something in that sense. However, as the government, it is your duty, it's your obligation to have to show us how you do it. Because when you talk about virtual reality, right, or even like an ideal virtual reality, even more so, you have to show us exactly how you get there. You have to link two ideas together, like how you get there and the benefits. Once you show us how you get there, then you can talk about benefits. If not, you're very susceptible to being attacked from every side, which is what UM did very well. UM gave a lot of justifications as to why in any scenario that you give out, because you all didn't give any scenario, in any scenario you give out, your world or whatever you're trying to push forward, the benefits you push forward would definitely not be able to be feasible in the first place. Okay, so I'll give you an example in what I mean by mechanism. Okay, let's say, has anyone watched The Matrix? I'm sure you're all familiar with The Matrix, where for their world, which is a virtual reality, you have humans hooked up by machines and they live in a certain in a virtual reality. However, are you all familiar with the show Black Mirror? If you're not, Black Mirror, there's this one episode called Saint Junipero, where you have the mechanism for their virtual reality is you have people who are dying or about to be dead, have their consciousness transferred, not their physical body, just the consciousness transferred to machines in a huge ass computer database where they live in a world. You see, these are two different mechanisms as to how they achieve the same virtual reality. And this is something that Taylor's really should have done. Like, I was really waiting for you guys to okay, guys, this is the benefit, so I'll show you what we're going to do to get there. However, I really didn't see it, and I'm sure both of my fellow adjudicators did not do it. And because of this, I felt what UM did was very smart. From the start, like Kushari went like, hey guys, you didn't have mechanization. And then the second speaker said you guys didn't have mechanization. You gave very good arguments as to why this is bad. And you also showed what would happen, like, even if let's say like they provided a certain mechanization, why it would still be bad. You talked about sustainability. You talked about how human will always bring their inherent biases into a virtual world, and this would harm even the virtual reality. And also in terms of colonization, economic equality, this is a brilliant argument. I really loved how it was well developed, well structured. It was very convincing on my side as an adjudicator. So I think a rule of thumb for Taylor's, if you guys do debate in the future, if you are a government and you have a motion that says that a house would abandon actual reality. It means that you are in charge of formulating something called like a policy. This would be considered a policy debate, which means like even in a parliamentary proceeding, a government, when they are proposing a certain thing, they would have to show us how they do it before going into the benefits and the benefits of it. You guys did about the benefits, but you didn't really show us how to do it. And because of that, as adjudicators, we weren't really able to even credit those arguments properly, even though they were well developed. So just something for you guys to keep in mind lah. But for Taylor's, for UM, you guys did a very good job, I think, at really structuring it. All of the adjudicators agree that your side, your case you presented was very comprehensive. Like from the start, we already knew what you wanted was a coexistence between virtual reality and actual reality, and you gave us a very good analysis of why this should happen, and also very good justification. So with that, I just want to say congratulations Team UN, and to Team Talos, it's okay, you guys can definitely do better next time lah. So yeah, that's just feedback from me. So yeah.
Hello. Tak ada
I don't think so.
Okay, so I think we're gonna end our series 2. So okay, jap, Dr. Z next stage.
Okay, boleh dengar?
Boleh. Tadi tak dengar.
I thought I've already wrap up just now, okay, but since they want me to just give some maybe for future, okay, for future. First of all, I think it's a good attempt made by the organizer to, I think this is a julung kali lah, we organize debate in a workshop, architecture workshop, but the good thing is that we are not so new to this, verbal presentation. We are so used to this in our studio. So by having this debate, I think it's another it's just sharpen your skill in how to become much more good orators, and also how to maybe defend your own work. This can also apply in your studio, okay? So it's not like menegakkan benang yang basah, okay, but somehow your concept and idea in the studio, okay, there's always ways how to actually justify your design, and defense your design in front of the jurors, especially during the crit session. But again, as I mentioned earlier, in terms of education, I think there's always a structure in how you want to present your ideas. So get this structure right, and then indirectly your thoughts will be I would say easier to be transferred to the audience, and the audience will understand what you're talking about. I think that's all basically from me. And by the way, I'm a bit sad UIA lost this, because I'm an alumni UIA. So I was in the UIA debate team long time ago. Okay, but however, good job to all.
Alright, so thank you, Dr. Zaid. Maybe next, Cik An, you want to say something?
Okay. Alright. Okay, I really enjoy tonight to see all the students organize this event, even though through online. First time for me to enter to this, what we call, Shanas, metric world, Matrix or Black Mirrors. Well, congratulations again. I would like to say thank you to the timekeepers, Shalina, and also the chair, Sophia. Mana dia? You done very well for to organize this event tonight. Can you, everybody, please give a round of applause to this chair, Sophia, and timekeeper, Shalina. Done very well. So just a quick one, by reflections, yeah. I told Shanas and Dr. Z just now, the way you debate is one thing, but it's about reflections. Number one, I can sense the energy of the teamworks. You know, the way Talos or even so when you have a teamwork, you communicate each other. And then secondly, it's about how to strategize the things, you know. I always go back to the fundamentals. You need to come back the fundamentals. You get the points together with your team, strategize the thing, because sooner or later reflects when you graduate and then you're working in the building industry. This is all those elements is very, very essential. So rather than you just debates without, you know, no strategy or even no the sense of the teamwork, so it's no point. So for me, I can see not only about winning or losing here, but the holistic. Everybody enjoy this and we learn something tonight. So keep it up, a good job, continue with the momentum, and I wish to see the next series, series on November. Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much. Congratulations to the zone team, everybody here, participants, even the winners, or you know, all of you. Give a round of applause to ourselves now. Thank you so much. Beautiful, beautiful memories. Thank you.
Thank you, Architect Adrianta Aziz, PEM Education Chairman, for the wise words. So, as for that, we're gonna end our session. But before that, tak ada nak promote lagi. I just want to thanks all the educators, PEM Education Chairman Architect Adrianta Aziz, Dr. Zach, Mr. Shanaf, and all the educators from the beginning of the debate until now. And also thanks to all 10 institutions that participating in this debate competition. So you guys are very brave. Hopefully you guys gain something from this, and you guys can build up your confidence, your presentation skill, your critical thinking skill, and hopefully you guys would be a better person in one day. Okay, alright. So before we end, lastly, I want just to remind to you guys, please, whoever, any institution that haven't registered yet into Zone for the competitions, we have another 6 competition offline. Please do register to Zone, and also you guys can get the brief from us. And please please participate in all those competitions, because we have a total cash prize of 15,000 ringgit Malaysia to be won by all of the architecture students around the Malaysia. Okay, so see you guys in the next series, which is series 3 from 21st until 28th of November 2021. Okay, so congrats everyone and goodbye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye bye.